أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي قصرت عن رؤيته أبصار الناظرين وعجزت عن نعته أوهام الواصفين الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين وأبي القاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ قال لقمان لابنه وهو يعظه يا بني لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك لظلم عظيم صلوات بيجي محمد وعلى صلي على محمد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Tonight we are commemorating in this series of two majlis of the night of the shahadat of the only daughter of the Holy Prophet, who is also the master and the leader, known as Sayyidatu Nisa'il Alameen, Fatimatu Zahra Salamullahi Alayha. And in the beginning, we'd like to extend our condolences to Imam of our time. For when a person loses his mother, how a child reacts, regardless of how old the child is. And if someone who's alive today, who has this connection, considering this lady to be his mother, that is Imam of our time. And therefore it is indeed difficult, and so we extend our condolences to Imam of our time. And also, all of us who are one way or another are associated with this personality. You don't have to be amongst the children and the progeny to feel the pain and the sorrow. You hear about some difficult news or someone's passing away, it affects you. And then when you hear about how someone passed away, that adds on to the difficulty and the musibat. And in this case, the daughter of the Holy Prophet not only left this world when she was only 18, but the reason behind her leaving this world and how her martyrdom and shahadat took place and what she had to go through in those 3 months, either 75 days or 95 days after the wafat of the Holy Prophet. For this night, inshallah, I'll try to be, inshallah, as concise as possible. It's a working day, and tomorrow everyone has to go to the work. I chose this ayat from Surah Luqman, ayah number 13 from chapter number 31. Easy to remember, 31, 13. A very commonly recited ayah, by the recitation of which you can understand what the topic would be. The ayah begins when Luqman Hakim, Allah quotes and says, وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانُ لِإِبْنِهِ وَهُوَ يَعِظُهُ. That when Luqman said to his son, when he was giving advice to him, Ya bunayya, O my son, La tushrik billah. Do not associate partners with Allah. Do not attempt shirk. Inna shirka la zulmun azim. Indeed, shirk is the greatest of injustices and the greatest of the zulm and oppressions. Therefore, the discussion tonight will also be under this advice of Luqman is the tarbiyat that Luqman is doing in these ayat and tarbiyat of Fatimatul Zahra for the ummah and especially her kids. And the effect of the tarbiyat of mothers towards their kids. That indeed it is important, especially in these nights while we, inshallah, will have the masaib towards the end, and inshallah you'll do girya and you'll pay your respects. But these matalib are for you. Masaib is for everyone, even those whom we cannot see. But the matalib are for our generation that is in front of us. That it is important a person understands the need of giving the advice. We should not be heedless that we don't need to give advice. And then when you are in the position to give advice, you should find the best possible way, time, and method. That even when you're speaking to those who are your enemies, وَجَادِلْهُمْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. That speak to them in a way, in a manner which is the best of the manners. Let alone when you're speaking to your own children and your own kids, on your own spouse, your own family members. And then when you're giving advice, make sure you do not lose the concept of compassion and love and mercy. From this one ayat, وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانَ لِابْنِهِ وَهُوَ يَعِظُهُ يَا بُنَيَّ. That Arabs will understand the word bunayya. He could have easily have said, Ya ibni. He did not say, Ya ibni, oh my son. He used tasghir of the word ibn, which is bunayya, which is used by Arabs when they want to show love and compassion, extra love and compassion towards their children. Ya bunayya, oh my young little child. Because it has nothing but compassion and mercy and love in it. So you want to attract someone, you want to make sure that you begin with love. If you start being a very strict person from a very strict tone, do you think there will be any impact on what you're saying to them? You think they'll even put ears to what you're saying to them? No. So you got to make sure that you're diplomatic about it as well. As diplomatic as possible when you're giving advice. So first, realize the need to give advice. Don't say, oh, my children don't need advice. I have given enough ta'aleem to them, they may not need any tarbiyat. No. You can give them as much ta'aleem as possible, but if it's lacking the tarbiyat, then this ta'aleem may not do any good to them now or even when they get older. So tarbiyat is very important. And in this respect of this tarbiyat, the role of both father and mother is important, but especially the mother is emphasized a great deal in our Islamic culture. Not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is lifting the duty from the fathers. No, that is not the case. But is emphasizing a great deal on mother's ability and her methods and her ways. I'll give you an example. Amirul Mu'mineen has a son by the name Muhammad Hanafiya. In the battle of Jamal, Imam sends him to go attack. He was timid, shy, he came back. Imam said to him, it's not your fault, it's your mother's. Because from your father's side, you're very strong and you're brave. And nobody will doubt the bravery of Amirul Mu'mineen. He says, it's not your fault, but it's your mother's because that you're not brave enough. But when you look at the children of Ummul Baneen, Imam would take pride. That yes, while you're getting the bravery from your father, but it is also because of your mother, Abbas, and other children, Ja'far, Abdullah, and Uthman, all the 4 kids of al-Banin. Do you know what their ages were at the Shahadat of Amirul Mu'mineen? Hazrat Abbas is the oldest, born in the year 26 after Hijrah. He's probably 14 years old at the Shahadat of Amirul Mu'mineen. Other sons of Banin are even younger. Imam leaves this world in the 40 or 41st year after Hijrah. Karbala doesn't happen for another 20 years. Hazrat Abbas is the oldest, 14 years old. In Karbala, he's 34. 20 years passed after the Shahadat of Amirul Mu'mineen. Anything could happen within a year's time, 2 years' time, especially kids when they're that young. But all 4 of them had the jazba and enthusiasm to go ahead and give their sacrifices for Sayyidu Shuhada. And that has to do with the tarbiyat of the mother. That is in the name of Banin that she gave. So this is where you see the contrast that Imam is also explaining. To Muhammad Hanafiya, Imam said, it is not your fault, it's your mother's. But to Banin, Imam would give all the credit to Banin that it is your tarbiyat, that your children are standing up in this way. So the respect should be given where it's due. You know, one of the greatest fuqaha by the name Sheikh Ansari, he's the author of many books, more importantly the book known as Makasib, which is taught in Hawzat al-Ilmiya. All of the maraji that you see today, all have studied that book. Every single one of them, bila istisna, have studied that book to become marja taqleed. That's how important that book is, Makasib. And therefore, he was one of the greatest alims of his time. When his mother passed away, he was weeping like no one has ever seen him before. He threw his amama away, took his amama off, and he was beating his head as he was walking alongside the janazah. His students came to him and said, you're marja taqleed. You're an example for everyone. Why are you behaving in this way? Show some patience. He says, the lady who's in this casket, in this taboot, whatever I am today is because of her. So she deserves this sort of weeping and crying. You can't understand the relationship that I had. Whatever I am and I have achieved today is because of that lady who's in this, taboot. Because she did not feed me unless she was bawudu and bataharat. And because of that, she did not put any haram morsel in my mouth. And it is due to her tarbiyat that world has come to know to me as Sheikh Murtaza Ansari. That's how he explains about his relationship to mother. So, he did not talk about his father's tarbiyat of him teaching him ilm usul and ilm fiqh and ilm rajal and ilm this and ilm that. No. All he mentions is his mother's tarbiyat, which has made him the marja taqleed that he is of that time. Salawat biji Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So therefore, mother's role is very, very vital. And I'll give you examples as we go along from the life of this great lady whom we are here gathered and commemorating her shahadat. There are about 5 steps of this tarbiyat. So it'll be easy to remember. It's in 5 stages. There could be more than 5, there could be 10, but we'll just summarize them into 5 or discuss them within this 5. And again, I won't even have time to go through all of them and elaborating, inshallah, relying on your own mutala and your own knowledge and your own abilities, inshallah. First level and the first step of tarbiyat, it's called tarbiyat al-dini. That we have to give to our children, to our subordinate, to those who are our dependents, what? What is called tarbiyat dini. Janab Sayyida would keep her children, she would put them to sleep after the Salatul Asr on the night of Shab Qadr. Why would you put them to sleep after Namaz Asr? So that they can get the sleep until night, and when they wake up, they will be able to stay up all night so that they can perform ihya shab on the night of Qadr, so that they can remain awake and not losing the opportunity to perform the amal of that night. That is what Janab Sayyida would do to Hasanain. How old were Hasanain at the time of the Shahadat? 7 and 6 respectively. So before she was doing this, they may have been 5 and 4-year-old. Is there any namaz which is wajib upon them? Do they have to do any of these amal? But no, this is how tarbiyat is done. That too, the tarbiyat dini, that you start these actions when they are this young, so that when they grow older, they will be able to do this by themselves. They will be able to perform these things without any chuno chera, without questioning as to why do we have to stay up all night, why do we have to do this, why do we have to read this, why do we have to perform these things in this way. And at that time, while there are answers to all of these questions, we sometimes lack answering, giving them logical answers which will make them content and understand the weight behind it, the way your parents did it to you. How do you have this love for this particular night, or the night of Qadr, or the night that you're here tonight? This is tarbiyat dini, right? See, I see so many younger kids over here. This is tarbiyat dini. That whenever there's a majlis, whenever there's a jashan, while your lives are very important and busy and you're occupied from all directions, but when there is a majlis aza, you go ahead and bring your children to majlis. That is tarbiyat dini. Yes, there are many priorities and nobody's questioning those priorities. I often say this, someone says, how do you translate the word whenever you make the dua? That, oh Allah, increase our tawfiqat, right? Oh Allah, give us the tawfiq to do this. You make the dua towards the end. I said, how do you translate the word tawfiq? I have not been able to translate the word tawfiq properly. But you can understand tawfiq from an example. That Monday night, you could have been doing anything, relaxing at home, and nobody would blame you for not coming. But the moment you heard that there is majlis aza commemorating the shahadat of this lady, and it is imperative that I must go and I'm going to take my children with me, while I could be anywhere else, nobody would blame me. That is called tawfiq. That is called tawfiq, that you were able to come, you were drawn and attracted towards this farsh aza, or wherever this majlis aza takes you. That is called tawfiq. And it's very difficult to translate this tawfiq as a strength or whatever it is that you want to call. So look out for these tawfiqat. It's a very important one of the advices amongst the advices of Luqman, that whoever's mother is not razi and satisfied with a person, if there's a person whose mother is not satisfied with him, his tawfiqat will not increase. Tawfiqat will remain stagnant. We make dua, oh Allah, increase our tawfiqat, and I gave you the example of tawfiq. You say, if a mother of a child is naradi, not satisfied, one of the things that is taken away is the increment of the tawfiqat. So you want to make sure that your mothers are satisfied from you in order for you to have this continuous increment as far as your tawfiqat is concerned. Salawat bi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Marhum Kashiful Ghita, one of the greatest scholars of Najaf, who's also buried near the Haram of Amirul Mu'mineen, he said that I did not perform a makruh for 40 years. When we give examples of our ma'asumeen, you might turn it down by saying, oh, they're imams, they're masoom. How can we even match what they used to do? Kashif al-Ghita is saying that I did not perform a makruh for 40 years. Not talking about haram, not talking about abstaining from that which is forbidden. No, even refraining from that which is makruh. Now you and I are not asked to, that we have to perform mustahabbat and that we have to leave the makruhat. No. Whatever is going to be questioned in the day of judgment is wajib and haram. That did you perform the wajibat and did you refrain from muharramat? That's it. But this is the lowest of the level for awliya Allah. So he said, for 40 years I did not perform a makruh. He said, one morning in Najaf, I asked my son, I woke him up for Salatul Fajr, and I said, let's go. He was, was young, he was sleeping, he preferred the bed over Salat. I guess that's the reason they included as-salatu khairun min an-nawm into it. That he preferred sleeping over Salat. He did not get up. I insisted. So he got up and he came with me. He said, this is how tarbiyat is done. So he's doing the tarbiyat of his son. He said, I didn't bring him every night. That just one day I brought him because I wanted to give him an example. He said, when I brought him, we saw there was a man who was sitting there in those early hours of night, when it's probably the time of Salatul Layl, before it's even time for Namaz-e-Subh. He said, I saw this man who was sitting outside the haram and he was begging. So I asked my son, Kashif al-Ghita says, I asked my son, what is this man doing? He said, what is he doing? He's begging. He's asking for money. Hey, you think he's going to get any money at this hour? He said, probably not. Who comes at this time? It's the time of Namaz-e-Subh, Namaz-e-Fajr. It's difficult for us to get up from our beds to go and perform Salatul Fajr, let alone get up from our beds, get out of our house, get into our car and come to a masjid and perform Namaz-e-Subh. So nobody will come, and this is probably not the best time for him to even ask him. He said, this man who knows that he may or may not get anything from anyone, but he's still sitting at this hour asking and begging. But you know that if you get up in the morning to go ahead and do this ibadat, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whoever gets up early in the morning does my ibadat, there are these tahaif, these special gifts that reach these individuals. And there's a guarantee of those things, yet still people are heedless of it. That this man who has no idea may or may not get anything in return, but he's still sitting there with conviction. Whereas Allah is promising something in return at this hour, yet people are still heedless of getting up in the morning and coming. Say, this was just done to show tarbiyat. He said, after which he learned his lesson and he would question me, when are we going for salat, when will we going for namaz. This is how you do tarbiyat. It doesn't have to be something which is forced down their throat. You have to force it onto them. No, rather by setting these examples and also leading by example. Salawat bi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I'll go through some of these very quickly. Second is tarbiyat-e-ijtima'i, which means the social upbringing and the social tarbiyat of our kids. A lot of time, insan is what? Social animal. You have to socialize with people. You can't live in seclusion. You can't live in your own by yourself. No, you got to mingle with people. It does a lot of good things as far as your self-esteem is concerned, as far as your, confidence is concerned. And we, as Shias, we have so many opportunities to be so social. Other sects, they may not have this opportunity. They're not commemorating the Shahadat Majlis as you are. So while you're here for this Majlis Shahadat, which is your main objective of coming out here tonight, but at the same time, after which you will be able to socialize. You'll be able to speak with one another. Therefore, tarbiyat-e-ijtima'i is also very important when it comes to your social life. Give children the opportunity to recite. Let them read the Noha, let them read the Marsiyah, let them perform and conduct these programs, because this will only give them confidence. And if they're able to grab this confidence here in this mahfil of ours, this majlis of ours, in these gatherings of ours, then you'll see how confident they will be when they step out into the real world tomorrow. It has to do with us taking back a little bit. We may have to let go of some things. We may have to forfeit some things. It's very difficult for us to let go of a few things which we hold very dear. It's important for us that we keep this as long as we want to. Allah says, no, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You'll never attain the highest of virtues unless you spend and give part of what you dearly love. I really love this job. I don't want to give it to anyone. I don't want to share it with anyone. He said, no. Let them have this opportunity. This will serve as their tarbiyat, as far as their tarbiyat is concerned. So, look at the example of our second imam. He's 5 or 6 years old. A man comes to the Holy Prophet. He says, I'm not a believer in you, but I have a few questions. I'll ask these questions. If you are able to answer them, then I'll believe in you. But if you don't answer them, then I have my sword with me. I'll combat. Rasulullah said, at this moment, when a person comes with hatiyar, with weapon ready, you want to make sure that you answer him properly. Rasulullah says, Sal hadi. Go ahead and ask my son. And he points towards a 5-year-old Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salatu wasalam. No doubt about Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba. That 5-year-old Imam has the knowledge. We're not doubting. But I would say even at that time, the Holy Prophet, looking at the delicacy of the situation, he would take it upon himself to go ahead and answer. It's a difficult time, let me answer so that this man does not become violent. He said, no, ask my son, ask my grandson, who's only 5 years old at that time. You're taking a big risk, you're taking a big chance. No, this is the future Imam. He's ma'asoom, he's infallible. The man looks at Imam Hassan, he says, really? I've come to ask you and you tell me to go ahead and ask this son, this young boy? Imam Hassan says, Rasulullah says, Sal ibni, ask my son. Imam Hassan said, Ma sa'alta ghaiban bal sa'alta faqihan. If you were to ask me, ghabiyan, if you would not find me someone who's unknown, who does not know, does not have the knowledge, go ahead and ask me. You'll find me to be faqih, knowledgeable of everything that you want to ask me. And then Imam said, do you want me to tell you what you were doing last night and what did you do yesterday? He went on explaining that sort of thing. What does it teach us? Rasulullah is telling us, go ahead and ask my son, who's 5 and 6 years old at that time. It's interesting, Rasulullah always referred to Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain as ibni. He did not say, Sal ibnu masalan binti, my grandson. He always said, Sal ibni, go ahead and ask my son. He always referred to Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain as his own sons. That is the reason when at the time Amir al-Mu'mineen was struck by the sword of Ibn Muljim, Imam said to Hazrat Abbas, he said what? He said, look, you are my son, O Abbas, and Hussain is the son of the Holy Prophet. And as long as you are alive, make sure nothing happens to the son of the Holy Prophet. This reference was always there. Why shouldn't it be? Even Quran referred to them as the children of the Holy Prophet. When he says, فَقُلْ تَعَالُوا نَدْعُوا أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ. Who were the misdaq of the abna'ana that Rasulullah is bringing as his own children, while the history mentions that Prophet's 1.5, 2-year-old son was alive, Ibrahim was there from Maria Qibtiyya, but still Rasulullah chose to bring Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain to show that these are the sons that Allah considers them to be my children. Salawat bi Muhammad wa ali man. Janab Sayyida does the same thing with Imam Hassan. He's only 7 years old, and she says, go to the masjid and listen to the lecture of the Holy Prophet. Yes, of course, she has the understanding that this 7-year-old will understand. As I see, there are many 6 and 7 and 8 years old sitting in front of me. Let them listen. If they understand, fine. If they don't understand, that's fine as well. Bring them, even if they don't understand anything. Even this language does not make sense to them, or the matalib, the mafhum is over their heads. Let them, but still bring them. This is all part of the tarbiyat. This is the least you could do. Someone said this, and I always quote, that Even if they don't understand anything. Let's say the majlis was in the language that you did not understand. Let's say I was speaking in Arabic or something, right? Only a few of you would understand. First of all, I don't claim to be able to speak in Arabic, but let's say I was speaking, majlis was being in Arabic, performed in Arabic. You did not understand anything because language is not your language. Arabic is not your language. So, but the fact that you spent 2 hours over here in ibadat, you also kept yourself away from 2 hours for these worldly things. That itself has benefits in it. So even if you don't understand, just for the sake of being away from anything which is worldly, you are present over here. So that itself has benefits in it. So Janab Sayyida says to Imam Hassan, go and listen to your grandfather. See what he has to say in the masjid. So Imam Hassan goes, he's only 7 years old, listens to the majlis or listens to the wahi, comes back and tells her mother every single time Rasulullah speaks about. This is encouraging. If you can go as mothers, send your children with the fathers. That go with your father to the majlis. Go ahead and listen to what the Maulana has to say. Or go ahead and perform the salat which is being done. Go ahead and do this, go ahead and do this. Give them this habit. Because today, if you're able to bring them or if you're able to send them and increase this enthusiasm in them to come, then only they'll come tomorrow with their own shauq, with their own willingness. But that has to be done today in order for them to be able to do that tomorrow. Salawat Biji Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. The third is tarbiyat akhlaqi. Again, I'm not minusing the role of the father, but I'm only trying to highlight the role of the mother as far as the tarbiyat is concerned. And that's why I'm only giving the examples from the life of Janab Sayyida, because it is the night in which we commemorate her shahadat, and not from the kalam of Amirul Mu'mineen, because the kalam of Amirul Mu'mineen is filled in Nahjul Balagha, how he has spoken to his children. Imam has spoken a great deal to his sons when it comes to their tarbiyat, when he's teaching them min al-walid al-fan, from the walid, from a father who's fan, who's perishing, who's going away, who's turning back to this world, and all that stuff. And their letter number 31 of Nahjul Balagha, and many other letters that Imam has written which have been documented about the tarbiyat of awlad. But we're only focusing the effect a mother has, the role that mother plays as far as the tarbiyat of awlad is concerned. So therefore, third is tarbiyat akhlaqi, that if a mother or a father has certain habits, guess what? It'll be automatically inculcated into the children as they are growing up. You won't even have to teach them those things. You don't even have to sit down with them and explain those things to them. The fact that they see it through their eyes, hear it through their ears, they'll be able to pick up on these things automatically. It just comes so automatic. There's so many examples of this, and even before the birth of a child. How many times, not in just the Islamic history, but even non-Islamic history you've heard, even the stories from the time of, World War II. Someone said when the Nazis were there and this girl, she was very young, but as she grew older, she was 60, 70 years old, and she was retelling the story. She said she still remembers the anthem that they used to recite, and she was only 2 or 3 years old at that time. So these things are automatically inculcated. They come. So if a father lies at home, if a mother lies and backbites and gossips and slanders and uses foul language, you don't have to teach these things to the kids. It'll come automatically to them. They'll be adopting this as they go along. This tarbiyat akhlaqi is highly, highly important. When we mention about what is important when it comes to, deen, we were mentioning one day, what is deen? So I said, well, deen is, 3 A's. I remember in one of the majalis at someone's house, I said, deen is 3 A's. What are these 3 A's? Triple A. First is ahkam. Ahkam is the name of deen. Second is aqaid, your beliefs. Aqidah, insan ka sahi hona chahiye. And third, akhlaq. He said you could have all the ahkam, you can memorize them. Your aqaid absolutely straight, fine, but you lack akhlaq. If there's no akhlaq, then these ahkam and these aqaid will not have any value whatsoever. And not just for ordinary people like you and I. Even when it comes to Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. We find that the Quran is also speaking to the Holy Prophet in this way. That, O Prophet, if you were stern-hearted, and if you showed them that you had this qasawat qalbi, they will leave you. They will strand you by yourself. Min hawlik, they will not be with you. The fact that you are soft-hearted. You have this beautiful akhlaq, innaka la'ala khuluqin azim, is the reason that people are sticking with you and they are by your side. But if you did not have these great akhlaq, these people would have stranded you away, way back. Mother prays in home on time. Mother performs these different things at home on time. This is where this tarbiyat akhlaqi will come into play. You know, we see that although at the same time, this mother has to make sure that she's able to build up this love for the father, who may not be around all the time. And this we learned from the kalam of Janab Sayyida. How she speaks to Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain, and she speaks to Imam Hassan in this way. This is the poetry or the couplets that are written from Janab Sayyida. She says to Imam Hassan, she said, Ashbih abaka ya Hassan. Resemble your father, O Hassan. Mothers, if the father is especially possessor of good qualities, make sure that you go ahead and teach your children this. Oh my son, be like your father. So not only that, if there are good characteristics in the father, he will adopt, but also at the same time will develop this love that this is the person that I have to look up to and this is the person that I have to take these habits from. She said what? Ashbih abaka ya Hassan. Resemble your father, O Hassan. Wakhla' anil haqqir rasan. And always be with the haqq and don't be against, which is truth in nature. Be always with haqq. She continues, wa'bud ilahan dha minan, and worship Allah, who is the possessor of all majesty and all honor, and who's Rahim and who's Rahman. Wala tuwali dhal ahan, and do not be with those who have grudge, who have hate, and who possess these sort of things. These are the 4 lines that Janab Sayyida is speaking to Imam Hassan, and just imagine the concept that she's trying to inculcate into the heart of a person who's probably 7 years old at that time. Salawat biji Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So if you are generous, then your children will be generous. Again, this is not something which you have to teach them. They'll learn from the example. There's a person by the name Sahib Ubbad. His name was Sahib ibn Ubbad. He lived in the time of Sheikh Saduq. He was a very knowledgeable man himself, has written many books. And it is mentioned that during the nights of Ramadan, he would host thousands and thousands of people and not let anyone go hungry. There are a lot of people who are wealthy, but they may not be generous. So not all the wealthy people at that time were as generous as Sahib ibn Ubbad was. So one day a person came to him and he said, wow, where did you get this sakhawat and this generosity from? He said, I learned this sakhawat and generosity and I give the entire credit to my mother. He said, how? He said, as I was growing up, we were young, school-going kids, my mother would give me 1 dinar or 1 dirham at night. And she would say, keep it with you, put it under your pillow. And next morning when you go into school, the first person you see who is in need, go ahead and give this dinar and dirham to them. He said, this became my habit even till this day, that sometime I have the habit of putting this dinar and dirham under my pillow so that I can take it out, and tomorrow when I'm going somewhere, I'll go ahead and give to those who are in need. And he says, this is because of the tarbiyat that my mother did as I was growing older. Not much was required in it. It was just a simple habit. Nobody's saying that you give your children every day a $10 bill or $5 bill or a dollar bill for that matter. Just a quarter maybe, anything, any change, make this to be a habit of them, that every night you give them, go ahead and keep it. You may not find those who are in need, but keep this money and secure it and save it so that you can help someone out tomorrow when you run into someone who is definitely is going to be in need. This is how this tarbiyat is done, brothers and sisters. It's not rocket science which is being mentioned as far as this tarbiyat akhlaqi is concerned, because sakhawat and generosity is amongst the acts of akhlaq, the peak of akhlaq. I'll go through it quickly. Number 5 is tarbiyat khanwade, tarbiyat the family tarbiyat, or you could call it tarbiyat of your culture, the culture that you come from. And knowledge of this culture is very important. A lot of time we compromise on our cultures. We come from very rich culture. Don't, first of all, underestimate your culture. While there are many bad things that have become part of our cultures, but there are many good things which are still there, which we should be proud of our culture, especially when you compare it with the culture that we are living in. It is only natural for children growing up in this society to adapt to the culture which is presented in front of them. What is worse is that while they're getting adapt and they're seeing that culture outside world, we are giving them the same exact culture in our houses as well. No. Bring and keep your culture that you have brought, because there are a lot of good things in it. First and foremost, is your language. Why are you shying away from giving them your language? It's a skill. This country that we live in, especially when you see that people take these as electives, they want to learn more languages. The more languages is considered to be a skill. While you're encouraging your kids when they're growing up and going to school, take Spanish, take French, take this, take that, while you have an opportunity to make them multilingual from the very beginning, you're not utilizing that opportunity. Teach them your language. If your language is Arabic, teach them that. If it's Farsi, teach them that. If it's Gujarati, teach them that. If it's Urdu, teach them that language. Don't be shying away, because with language comes a lot of cultures as well. Cultural values are inculcated in this language. Just example which may be very simple, very basit. You say, well, what kind of example is this? That how you address someone who's older than you in our culture, as opposed to how you address someone who's older than you in this culture. In our culture, the culture that we come from, India, Pakistan, when you speak to someone who's a few years older than you attach a word bhai, or you attach a word behan, or you attach a word baji. You attach something which shows respect towards the person who's older than you. You won't call them by their names. Let's say your older brother who's only older by a couple of years, but your parents are teaching you, when you call upon your brother whose name is Ali, say Ali Bhai masalan, right? Or Fatma Baji masalan, right? You teach this, and this is something what? You say, well, this is a very simple example, and I told you that it's a very simple example. But this is where our culture is lifting us. While in this country that we live in, how do you address? There's no saying, if a person is calling upon John may be 20 years older than this younger one, but is still calling him as John. Even they would call their parents with their names. While the tarbiyat that Rasulullah is leaving us with, he says, one of the rights of a son upon the father and mother is what? 3 things that Rasulullah mentions. He says, La tamshi amamahu. Don't walk in front of them. Do you learn that in this culture over here? Yeah, unless you have to go front and open the door, that's okay. But don't walk in front of them showing disrespect to them. Wala tusammi bi ismihi. Don't call them by their names. Considered to be utmost disrespect. Do you see anyone in our culture calling their fathers with their name? No. And that's where you have to marvel the culture that we have brought. Yes, there may be some negativities with it. You go ahead and filter those negative things out. Keep those things which are good. And same thing goes with the culture that we live in over here. There are many good things that you can adapt to. And those things which are not good, just let them out, leave them away. Janab Sayyidah is training these kids as well. She doesn't have a great deal of time with her. बहुत ज़्यादा वक्त नहीं है जनाब सैयदा के पास. 18 साल का सिन पाया है इस बीबी ने. 18 साल में इंसान क्या कर रहा होता है? کسی 18 سال کے شخص سے آپ پوچھئے کہ 18 سال کی عمر میں انسان ابھی اپنے ہوش حواس میں نہیں ہوتا، ابھی اپنی زندگی میں آگے نہیں بڑھ پایا ہوتا انسان، اور یہ خاتون جنت سیدۃ نساء العالمین اس 18 سال کے سن میں اس دنیا سے رخصت ہو جاتی ہے۔ کوئی عام شخصیت نہیں ہے جناب سیدہ، کن کن مصائب سے گزریں، لیکن اس کے باوجود جو کچھ تھا، ایسا کچھ خاص زیادہ نہیں تھا، لیکن جتنا بھی تھا اس کو طریقے سے بتایا اولاد کو کہ خرچ کیسے کرے انسان۔ آپ کے سامنے سخاوت کا تذکرہ کیا، جنراسٹی کا تذکرہ کیا۔ ایک واقعہ یاد آ گیا مجھے کہ ایک شخص آتا ہے اعرابی رسول اللہ کے پاس اور آ کے کچھ طلب کرتا ہے۔ رسول اللہ کہتے ہیں کہ میرے پاس نہیں ہے ابھی کچھ دینے کو۔ ایسی بات ہے، رسول اللہ اس وقت درس دے رہے ہوں گے، تقریر کر رہے ہوں گے، مسجد میں تھے، ہاتھ میں کچھ نہیں تھا، مگر یہ وہ گھرانہ ہے کہ جب ان کے پاس کچھ نہیں ہوتا تو کسی اور کی طرف بھیج دیتے ہیں کہ جہاں سے مدد مل سکے۔ ہم نہیں مدد کر پا رہے تمہاری، لیکن ہاں فلاں شخص تمہاری بھی مدد کر دے گا۔ رسول اللہ نے کہیں اور نہیں بھیجا، کہا سیدہ کے دروازے پہ چلے جاؤ اور وہاں سے مانگ لو۔ یہ عربی آ گیا، دروازہ کھٹکھٹایا، جناب سیدہ کی خادمہ نے پوچھا کون ہے؟ بتایا رسول اللہ نے بھیجا ہے کہ اس دروازے سے تمہاری حاجت پوری ہو جائے گی۔ وہ شخص اعرابی کیا کہہ رہا تھا؟ رسول اللہ میں بھوکا ہوں، مجھے کھانا دے دیجئے، میں بغیر کپڑوں کے ہوں، مجھے کپڑے دے دیجئے، اور میرے اوپر دین ہے، قرض ہے، میرے قرض کو ادا کر دیجئے۔ رسول اللہ نے کہا اس دروازے پہ چلاؤ، اس دروازے پہ کھٹکھٹاؤ، تمہاری یہ سارے چیزیں پوری ہو جائیں گی۔ جناب سیدہ نے ایک فرش اٹھا کے دیا، کہا اس سے میرا کام نہیں ہونے والا، لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون، اس سے کام بنے گا جو چیز آپ کے نزدیک بھی بہت امپورٹنٹ ہے۔ جناب سیدہ نے وہ ہار دے دیا کہ جو جناب سیدہ کو ہدیہ ملا تھا، اس ہار سے یقیناً اٹیچمنٹ ہوگی، رہی ہوگی، لیکن اس کو دور کر دیا تاکہ اس مرد کی جو ہے وہ پریشانیاں دور ہو سکیں۔ وہ اس نے اس ہار کو لیا، لے کر کے مسجد میں آیا، رسول اللہ سے کہا میں آپ کی بیٹی کے دروازے پہ گیا تھا، اس نے مجھے یہ ہار دیا ہے۔ رسول اللہ نے کہا کون اس ہار کا خریدار ہے؟ جو بھی اس ہار کو خریدے گا میں اس کو جنت کی نوید دیتا ہوں۔ فوراً عمار کھڑے ہو گئے، انہوں نے جو ہے وہ اس ہار کو خریدا اور اس شخص کو اس کی رقم ادا کی، جس سے اس کو کھانا بھی مل گیا، جس سے اس کے کپڑے بھی مل گئے، جس سے اس کے دین بھی ادا ہو گئے۔ اور پھر عمار نے اپنے غلام سے کہا لو یہ ہار لے کے دوبارہ سیدہ کو جا کے واپس پلٹا دو، دے دو کہ عمار کی طرف سے دوبارہ آپ کو ہدیہ ہے۔ یہ غلام آتا ہے لے کر کے، کہا کہ دوبارہ اس دروازے پہ جاؤں، ہاں اور اب جا ہی رہے ہو جناب سیدہ کے دروازے پہ تو تمہیں بھی میں نے آزاد کر دیا، تم جاؤ آزاد ہو میری طرف سے۔ غلام تھا، آزاد ہو گیا، آتا ہے دروازے پہ، کھٹکھٹایا، واپس وہ ہار جناب سیدہ کو دیا۔ کہا یہ کیوں لے کے آ گئے؟ کہا جس شخص نے خریدا اس نے واپس آپ کو بخش دیا، واپس آپ کو ہدیہ کر دیا۔ جناب سیدہ نے سبحان اللہ کہا، وہ شخص مسکرانے لگا۔ جناب سیدہ نے کہا مسکرانے کی کیا وجہ ہے؟ کہا میں یہ دیکھ رہا ہوں کہ ایک ہار ہے اور اس سے کتنے لوگوں کو فائدہ ہو رہا ہے، اس سے ایک شخص کی بھوک بھی گئی، ایک شخص کو کپڑے بھی ملے، اس کے دین بھی ادا ہو گئے، اور جس نے خریدا اس کو جنت بھی میسر ہو گئی، اور اس کے ساتھ ساتھ جو اس کو لے کے آیا وہ غلام تھا، اس کو بھی آزاد کر دیا گیا۔ کتنا بابرکت یہ ہار ہوگا کہ جس شخص کے پاس سے نکلا ہوگا۔ یقیناً یہ وہ دروازہ ہے کہ جہاں سے لوگوں کی حاجات پوری ہوتی تھیں، اور ایسا نہیں کہ ہوتی تھیں، اب تک پوری ہوتی ہیں۔ جو بھی اس دروازے سے لو لگاتا ہے، اس دروازے کو پکڑ کے کھڑا ہوتا ہے، جب بھی مانگتا ہے، ارے فطرت سے رسول نے کہا تھا کہ گہوارہ حسین سے مس کر دو، اس کو پر عطا ہو گئے۔ جسم حسین سے مس کرنے کو نہیں کہا تھا، گہوارے سے مس کرنے کو کہا تھا۔ آج تک یہ دروازہ کھلا ہوا ہے، اگر مس کہتے دروازے سے نہ کرو حسین سے کرو تو 61 ہجری میں امام کی شہادت کے بعد سے یہ چیز ختم ہو جاتی، لیکن کہا گہوارے سے کرو۔ آج بھی کوئی حسین کی ذریعے سے اپنے آپ کو مس کرے، یقیناً شفاعت ملے گی، شفاعت کا وعدہ کیا ہے۔ تو گویا یہ وہ دروازہ تھا کہ جہاں سے حاجات پوری ہوتی تھیں، جہاں پہ رسول اللہ السلام علیکہ یا اہل بیت النبوہ کہا کرتے تھے۔ مگر یہ وہی دروازہ ہے کہ جس دروازے کو گرایا جائے گا، جس دروازے پہ آ کے دھمکی دی جائے گی، جس دروازے پہ آ کے کہا جائے گا کہ ابو الحسن کو باہر نکالو، علی کو باہر بھیجو، نہیں تو ہم اس دروازے کو جلا دیں گے۔ جناب سیدہ نے کہا شاید غیرت ہو، غیرت آ جائے کہ یہ رسول کی بیٹی کا گھر ہے، ارے اس کے اندر رسول کے نواسے ہیں، رسول کی بیٹی ہے۔ جواب ملا بھلے سے وہ ان کے اس گھر کے اندر ہوتے رہے اس گھر میں، لیکن ہم نے جو عزم کیا ہے ہم اس کو پورا کریں گے۔ اور گویا ایسے ہی ہوا، ایک دم دروازہ گرایا گیا۔ دروازے میں کچھ کیلیں تھی جو جناب سیدہ کے پہلو پہ، سینے پہ چبھ گئیں، ارے ایسی چبھی ایک عالم نما مجلس پڑھ رہے تھے، انہوں نے جیسے ہی یہ مسائل پڑھے کہ جناب سیدہ کی پسلیاں چڑک گئی۔ وہ مذاہب پڑھ کے اتر آئے، دیکھا ایک شخص روئے جا رہا ہے، اس کا گریہ اختتام پذیر نہ تھا۔ وہ عالم اس شخص کے پاس گئے، اس کو گلے سے لگایا، خدا قبول کرے تمہارے گریہ کو، اب بس کرو بہت گریہ کر لیا۔ لیکن وہ روتا جا رہا تھا۔ کہا وجہ کیا ہے؟ کہا میں ایک ڈاکٹر ہوں، آپ نے کہا جناب سیدہ کی پسلیاں ٹوٹ گئی۔ ارے جب پسلی چڑکتی ہے تو بڑا دکھ ہوتا ہے، بڑا ورم ہوتا ہے، ارے بہت درد ہوتا ہے۔ سیدہ کو کیا درد محسوس ہو؟ اجرکم اللہ، خدا کسی غم میں نہ رلائے سوائے غم آل محمد کے۔ سیدہ کو کیا مصیبت آئی ہوگی ان کے اوپر، کیا مشکل آئی تھی کہ جناب آیت اللہ وحید کہتے ہیں کہ آپ کی انگلی کی ہڈی چڑک جائے تو جب بھی کہیں ٹکراتی ہے درد ہوتا ہے، ارے کسی کی پسلی چڑک جائے تو سمجھو جب بھی سانس لیتی ہوں گی سیدہ جب بھی سانس لیتی ہوں گی سیدہ، ارے جان دیتی ہوں گی۔ اجرکم اللہ، خدا کسی غم میں نہ رلائے سوائے غم آل محمد کے۔ اور یہ واقعہ رسول کی وفات کے چند ہی دنوں بعد ہوا، یعنی سیدہ ان ٹوٹی ہوئی پسلیوں کے ساتھ کم از کم 3 مہینہ زندہ۔ اجرکم اللہ، اسی لیے کہتے ہیں کہ اگر واسطہ دینا ہے، دعا مانگنی ہے، خدا کے سامنے اس طرح دعا مانگو، اے خدا تجھے واسطہ ہے پہلو شکستہ فاطمہ کا۔ جب پہلو شکست فاطمہ کا واسطہ دو گے تو خدا تمہاری کوئی بھی تمنا دور نہ کرے گا۔ اجرکم اللہ، خدا کسی غم میں نہ رلائے، بس آگے لے چلو۔ وہ وقت آ گیا جناب سیدہ اس زخم کی وجہ سے، محسن کے شہید ہونے سے، پہلو شکستہ ہونے سے وہ وقت قریب آیا۔ جناب سیدہ اس دار فانی سے کوچ کر رہی ہے، بس علی کو قریب بلایا، اے علی کچھ وصیتیں ہیں۔